Welcome back to the 17 News at Noon podcast, where we share your news on your schedule.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Noon.
Good afternoon, and thanks for joining us. I'm Nicole Gitsky. We start with the latest on the coronavirus here in Kern County. Kern Public Health announces another spike in cases. Now, Public Health confirms 787 new cases of COVID-19. That brings our total in Kern to over 9,200. Our death toll stands at 105. Currently, over 4,100 are isolated at home. 180 are in the hospital. Now, for the past 2 days, Kern has failed to meet certain requirements by the state. If failed again today, we will be added to the state's monitoring list, meaning indoor sectors will have to once again close back down for an indefinite period of time. Those businesses will have a 3-day grace period to modify their operations or close down. Well, to the list of unprecedented changes to everyday life prompted by the pandemic, add this. California's high school sports calendar will undergo some drastic adjustments this year. 17's Robert Price is in studio now and it can explain further.
Well, Nicole, the California Intercollegiate Federation, that's the state's governing body for high school sports, announced just this morning that, as expected, there will be no high school sports for the rest of the 2020 calendar year. All 3 seasons, fall, winter, and spring, will be crammed into 2, with winter and spring essentially combined. And the games won't start until January, although the CIF sections, those are the regional divisions within the state, may authorize practices to start in December. The opening high school football game of the season, for example, will likely be played January the 7th, and playoffs for sports like baseball and softball will go practically into July, June 26th to be specific. Of course, it's all subject to change if the pandemic worsens late fall. I talked to Sam Green, who in essence is the athletic director for the entire Kern High School district, and he sounded an optimistic note.
But, given the circumstances, I'm really happy with the decision that CIF's made. I feel like it's that we're making the best of a really bad situation.
So this news is good, probably as good as we could have hoped for, given the other options on the table. Kids who may have feared they'd lose their entire senior seasons because of this pandemic can now focus on staying healthy and getting ready for a season that may look different. But if all goes well, it'll still take place.
Now, a question I have, if the winter and spring seasons are combined, what is it going to be for an athlete who plays sports in both?
Well, Nicole, it means if they play both soccer and softball, they'll probably have to pick one or the other. But as Stan Green was telling me, fewer and fewer students these days are playing more than one sport, so it shouldn't impact too many.
All right. Thank you so much, Rob, for joining us. Well, we are just 2 months away from when the Kern County Fair would usually begin. Today, we could find out if the fair will go on or fall victim to COVID-19. The board that organizes the fair will discuss if the annual event needs to be canceled. Board members are juggling concerns about coronavirus and the fair's budget. During a meeting back in May, they decided the fair could go on as scheduled. In May, Finance Chair Lucas Espiricuarte said board members should consider a fair with no rides, but just concerts, livestock, animals, and concessions. He said the fair as an organization could lose up to $3 million if the event is canceled. And 1 person is dead after a shooting overnight in East Bakersfield. KCSO says they responded to the shooting on Brown Street around 10 p.m. Detectives say the victim was shot in the head and taken to the hospital. That person has since died. Homicide detectives are now investigating. And 1 person is dead after a stabbing. This happened at 1:30 a.m. near the Backyard Organics medical marijuana dispensary. That's on River Boulevard. Deputies found evidence of a stabbing at the location. The victim was taken to Kern Medical Center by a private car where he was pronounced dead. This is an ongoing investigation. So far, there is no information on a suspect. And a man is dead after he was hit by a car in central Bakersfield overnight. Bakersfield police say a car hit a bicyclist around 9:30 last night. It happened near Chester and California Avenue, just south of 13th Street. The man riding that bicycle was hit and killed. Officers say the driver drove off. The car is described as a newer model Toyota or Nissan, believed to be a dark blue or gray. It was last seen speeding southbound on Chester Avenue. BPD says the car has front end damage. The police department says this is the 20th person who was hit and killed in Bakersfield this year. And a man is dead following a crash on Golden State Avenue. CHP says a small SUV was unsafely passing near the entrance to a construction zone at the airport, lost control and rolled, landing on the roof. According to CHP, an off-duty officer saw it happen in his rearview mirror. 2 people were seriously hurt. 1 person was thrown from the car and died. We know now that was a 22-year-old man from Bakersfield. Another person suffered major injuries. CHP says alcohol appears to be a factor in that crash. Tragedy on the Kern River. A 14-year-old died over the weekend after getting swept away. Search and rescue crews responded to Hart Park Saturday evening after someone reported a 14-year-old girl missing in the river. Family identified the girl as Precious Porter. During the search, a sheriff's helicopter found the girl in the water. Crews performed CPR and took her to a nearby hospital, but she died.
I just want to stress, the dangers of the river. Anytime anybody gets in the river, they should have a PFD or life vest on. Always be with friends or family so they have somebody there to watch them. And if you can't swim, stay out of the water.
A GoFundMe page for the Porter's family has been set up to help with funeral expenses. You can find that link on our website, kget.com. And last night, Precious Porter's family and friends held a vigil to remember the young girl. Her family says her name said it all.
She's so precious. She's kind. When you meet her, you just love her instantly. She just got this attitude that you do love. As soon as you see Precious, you love Precious. It's like everybody here. It's a lot of people that here that did know Precious and met her on 1 or 2 occasions, and she made a big impact on their life.
The family says they hope to hold a car wash at some point to help raise more money to offset funeral expenses. Her aunt says they will post more information on Facebook when a date has been set. And that is such an important reminder to stay out of the river, especially during this hot weather. Let's send things over to Kevin Charette with a look outdoors.
Well, take a look at our almanac overnight. We were at 71 degrees. We are supposed to be right there for this time of year, and our normal high 98 degrees. So we are going to try to keep you below 100 the next 7 days, so near normal. Our record of 112, and that was set back in 1938. You can see temperatures for today going to be hovering near 91 in Sacramento, 64 out of the Bay Area, nice day there, 68 in Morro Bay, and then 70s down to the south where we find the heat. No surprise as we travel east. 109 in Vegas. Phoenix today also going to be hovering near 110. Here's a look at the beaches. Some patchy fog we dealt with this morning. We're continuing to see clearing skies. 68 degrees out that way. A west-northwest wind right around 10 to 15 as we progress into the afternoon. There's not a lot happening out in the Pacific, but we are tracking an area of low pressure that's going to develop out of the north. That's going to help with our temperatures the next 7 days, keeping us near 100. I know it was hot yesterday at 103, but that trough out of the north will help us out here. Nothing on Futurecast HD. Some moisture off to the east of us. We'll be watching for that the next several days, being drawn up out of Mexico. Could see some thunderstorms that way, but nothing for Kern County. We did see a few isolated thunderstorms along the Sierra Crest over the weekend. Here's a look at our headlines, and sunny skies will continue. Mountain breeze for today. Bakersfield will remain below 100. Some of the other areas around the valley will get to be near the triple digits. And then as we take a look at the air quality conditions, the air quality alert still in place. As we take a look at our national weather and the temperatures for today, 84 in Sacramento, 96 in Boise. You can see as we spread to the east, still quite warm. Denver today at 93, and then up into the northeast, Boston at 95, and even upper 90s for Washington, D.C. at 98. Here's a look at your forecast. Air quality today will be moderate with an AQI right at 100. Your pollen count at 5.8 puts you in the moderate range, and then our UV index still quite high at 11. Here's a look at our forecast today. Upper 90s, lower 100s. Bakersfield at 99, 100 in Delano and Wasco, 97 out in Taft for the mountains in the Kern River Valley. Sunny skies, winds could gust near 40 miles per hour. We're looking at 86 in Frazier Park and Tehachapi in the Kern River Valley, 90s, 95 out of Lake Isabella. Into the desert, the heat is on for Ridgecrest. No big cool down here. We're looking at 108, 98 in Mojave, 102 out in California City. And here's a look at that extended forecast for you. And you can see temperatures will hover right near 100 through next Sunday. Overnight temperatures in the 60s and 70s. For the mountain forecast, we're looking at 80s across the board on Thursday, a high of 85. And then for the Kern River Valley forecast, we'll keep you in the 90s. Thursday will be the coolest day with 93, and then back into the mid-90s as we approach that weekend. So overall, not a bad forecast for the mid part of July. There are many years where a lot warmer than what we're seeing throughout the next 7. We'll send it back over to you.
Fire crews from all over California continue to battle a wildfire in Fresno County that has been burning for a week now. This mineral fire started last Monday in fields just west of the city of Coalinga, nearly 2 hours northwest of Bakersfield. Now, that fire has now burned over 28,000 acres and destroyed at least 4 buildings. 6 structures have been damaged. No one has been hurt in the fire, but 60 other structures are reportedly in the path of flames, and the smoke has been affecting the air we all breathe. Right now, over 1,500 firefighters are trying to get the fire under control. The Kern County Fire Department sent 5 firefighters and 2 bulldozers to help. At CAL FIRE's last update, the mineral fire was 49% contained. Well, this is the last week for the $600 bonus added to the state's unemployment benefits. The boost, when added to state's benefits, is more than what 2/3 of workers made on the job, which caused controversy. Congressional lawmakers are beginning to work this week on the next economic stimulus package, but it's unlikely they'll agree on much, less approve the next step to help unemployed Americans before the payments lapse. While the coronavirus relief program technically doesn't expire until July 31st, this coming week will be the last for paid benefits. That's because payments are only provided for weeks ending on either Saturday or Sunday. The change is likely to be a blow to many unemployed people because the economy is still far from recovered from the pandemic. Well, Taco Bell is retiring several items on its menu. 11 items, including the grilled steak soft taco, the 7-layer burrito, and Nacho Supreme will be removed from the menu on August 13th. Taco Bell says the move is to clear space and create a more efficient experience. Some new additions will fill the void, including some plant-based items. And while the quesarito may be removed from the menu boards, it will still be available to order digitally on the website or through the app. Well, hey shoppers, don't forget your mask. Starting today, some of the nation's biggest stores are requiring customers to wear one. That includes Walmart, Sam's Club, CVS, and Walgreens. Executives at Walmart and Sam's Club say they are following guidance from health officials to protect people's health. Now, to help with the control of coronavirus, the CDC recommends people wear a cloth face mask or some kind of face covering in public settings. And when around those outdoors or outside your household, other retailers have also announced upcoming mask mandates, including Kroger, Target, Home Depot, and Lowe's. Welcome back. Many classrooms across Kern County might not be filled with kids this fall. Governor Gavin Newsom announced Friday that counties can start in-person education only if they manage to stay off the state's watch list for 14 days in a row. All counties that don't meet the criteria will start the fall with distance learning. The state's guidance also says in-school districts allowed to resume classroom teaching, teachers, staff, and students must wear masks or face shield in classes above 2nd grade. In 2nd grade and below, it's recommended but not required. Well, a local nonprofit is making sure students are prepared for the upcoming school year. United Way of Kern County and the Blessing Corner have teamed up to provide 3,000 backpacks and school supplies for children in need. But they need your help. They are looking for backpacks, notebooks, pens and pencils, toothpaste and toothbrushes, mouthwash, deodorant, and more. They will be collecting those items this Wednesday from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. at 5405 Stockdale Highway. Today is Moon Day, marking the 51st anniversary of man's first lunar landing. President Richard Nixon made the first Moon Day proclamation for July 20th in 1971. 2 years after the landing, 12 states have sponsored bills recognizing Moon Day, but it hasn't had enough support to be federally recognized yet. Maybe tonight you can break out the telescope or the binoculars, and while you're at it, look for the comet Neowise. Neowise comes closest to the Earth on Wednesday, so that may provide the best possible chance to spot it. Now, Vanessa.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Noon.
The 17 News at Noon podcast is a production of KGET and Nexstar Media Group. For more on all of the headlines in today's show, head to KGET.com.